Today, on Be Something Wonderful, how to make the movie of your life into a blockbuster. I am your host, Tom Karen, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, welcome back. I heard from one of you that said, Tom, I think I'm understanding this, that I create my own reality. But everybody else also, as you said, creates their own reality. And if we all have free will to create our own reality, how does everybody else fit in then to what I want to create and what I want? Because here's what happened. And then this person went into something that happened at work, something that's going on in the family, and even something that happened 5 years ago, right? And I get it, you want to tell that story. But here's what I want to say, and this is big. That remember, you are the star of your movie, and everybody else is the star of their movie. In other words, you're the star of your life, and everybody else is a supporting actor or an extra. And the conditions that you see in 3D are just props. And the events that are happening are just scenes. Right? And so when you put your focus on the scenes, on the props, on the other actors, on the other support, on the other extras, it takes your focus off you being the star. Right? The only thing you have to decide is, what's your happy ending? Right? What's your desired end? What's your wish fulfilled? That's what you get to pick. You don't get to determine how the script unfolds, or you don't even pick the script. It's even better than that. You get to pick the ending and how it's all going to end, right? Because remember, when you get caught up on what other people are doing, remember, they're the star of their own movie, and you're an extra or a supporting actor in their movie. Do you hear this? Everybody, and then what organizes all of it? What determines how all the pieces fit? That's God's job. It's infinite, the number of possibilities. Only God, or that higher power, or that greater wisdom, or infinite intelligence, or infinity can have the broader perspective of those infinite number of film rolls and scripts that are playing out and see how all the pieces fit. Right? Your job's not to resist. Your job's to go with the script and then keep choosing a new film roll that has a new script that leads you to your desired end. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to really unpack this today like we never have before. Because whenever you get caught up in what other people are doing, or what this person did to you, or the wrong or the injustice, or how do I dig up my limiting beliefs, or how do I improve myself, or how do I know I deserve it, how do I get better? All of that keeps you focused not on being a movie star, but being an extra. You get relegated to an extra or a supporting role in your own life, right? So instead of figuring out how to improve others, how to change others, how to improve yourself, just move to the improved life that you want by imagining your wish fulfilled, by illuminating that future slide. That's what we're going to talk about today. So remember, you are the star of your life. Everybody else is playing a supporting role, and everybody else and everything else are props, right? The props are the conditions in 3D. The scenes are the events, right? The people are supporting roles. None of that matters. Remember, all scripts are written. So you can't change the props. You can't change the scenes, and you can't change the other actors. They're a supporting role, right? What can you do? You can choose the film roll that has a new script that goes according to your wish fulfilled. And as you keep illuminating your future slide, as you keep illuminating your desired end, as you keep imagining your wish fulfilled, you keep your focused on your happy ending, you are changing the film rolls as you do that. And those film rolls have scripts that are favorable and are moving you along the path of least resistance to everything you want. Do you get how powerful this is, guys? It's because whenever we get pulled off, whenever we get in the weeds, right? We're off into the weeds. We're off into the weeds by looking at, I don't like those props. Or in other words, I don't like these 3D conditions. And we focus on that. Or I don't like the scenes or the events that are happening. And we judge them and we resist them, right? Or I don't like those supporting actors or those extras. Get rid of them, right? All of that takes your focus off what you really want, your wish fulfilled. And it binds you to a script that you don't want and a film role that you didn't choose. So how do you get in a script that is favorable into a film role that you choose? By illuminating your future, by illuminating your imagined end and staying focused on that. Everything else will move according to that, and you will be moved, right? So remember, there are infinite film roles and scripts to choose from, right? Each film role or lifeline or alternative reality comes with a set script. You can't change the script. What you can do is choose a new film role. How? We're going to talk about that today. But you do it by imagining your wish fulfilled. You do it by illuminating that future slide. You do it by imagining your imagined end, right? Not messing with the props or the 3D conditions, not messing with the events or the scenes of the movie, and not messing with the character actors or the supporting roles or even the co-stars. Because occasionally you have someone close to you that's a co-star. They all have their own movie, and they're all a star in their own movie. What makes the difference? Whether you're conscious in your movie or not. If you're unconscious, that means you're getting pulled by the script. A script that you don't want in a movie, a film role that you didn't choose. And you start fighting with the others. You fight with the actors. You fight with the props. You fight with the conditions, right? So each film role comes with a alternative reality. All scripts are written. You can't change the script. When you try, it binds you more to the script and moves you to even more unwanted film roles. Even worse scripts. Do you see that? It moves you to even more unwanted film roles and even worse scripts, right? More unwanted as defined by you, right? Because remember, bad or worse, good or bad is only defined by you. Those are judgments, right? So let's unpack this a little bit more. When you fight with, when you resist, when you try to change, when you try to influence, when you try to get rid of, or when you rail against other actors or extras, meaning people in your life, or props, 3D conditions, or scenes, the events that are happening in 3D reality, you get more and more unconsciously immersed in the current script. And when you do, it moves you to even more or worse unwanted scripts and film roles that you didn't choose. Wow, that's powerful, right? That's why Neville got it. That's what Neville Goddard means when he says free will is only freedom of choice. When you're unconscious, when you're immersed in the script, when you're fighting with the props and the actors in the scenes, or in other words, the people in your life, the 3D conditions, in the events happening in 3D reality, you go unconscious. You're now immersed in the script. Now you think you have free will. You're doing things. You have this illusion of action. You're taking action, but it's an illusion of action because you don't have free will. You went unconscious. You're being moved by a script that you don't want in a film role that you didn't choose. That's what Neville Goddard means, that free will is only freedom of choice. What's the choice? To choose your desired end, to imagine your wish fulfilled, to illuminate your future slide, and then everything else will unfold according to that desire, according to that wish, according to that focus. That's what he meant. You lose your free will to choose the film role, alternative desired reality, when you resist the current script. That's big. Let's unpack this a little bit more. How do you choose? How do you do it? Well, in other words, how do you change the film role or the reality that has your desired script? In other words, it has the people, conditions, events, actors, props, scenes that lead you to your wish fulfilled and your happy ending, right? How does it done? Well, you illuminate the future frame, right? When you're in the current frame of the movie, in the current frame of life, and fighting with all of those things, fighting with the people, fighting with the events and conditions, right? Fighting with the movie scenes or the events or the actors or the props. You get stuck in the script. You relegate yourself to a supporting role and you get moved by the script. Instead, illuminate the future frame and imagine your desired end. Imagine and assume your wish fulfilled. Everything else unfolds accordingly, right? Follow the script consciously. As you do, the current script releases you, right? And allows you allows you to move you to more favorable scripts on film roles that you choose by lighting up your desired future. Do you see it? When you try to take 3D reality on directly, it will take you on directly. And when you grab it by the throat, it will grab you by the throat. It's about letting go, following the script, knowing that as you follow the script, as you create the movie and watch the movie and participate in the movie, you're quietly going up and changing the film role and moving to everything you want. That's big. So what about everybody else in my life, in my reality? Each person is the star of their own life, their own film role, their own reality. And you are an extra or a supporting role in theirs. And they are an extra or supporting role in yours. How does it work? Only God knows that. Only infinite intelligence can figure that out. Only infinite intelligence knows all realities that exist now and how all the infinite pieces fit. So your job's not to get down in the weeds, right? So the details of the scripts and how they unfold specifically can't be known. Your free will, here it is again, free will, is in choosing your happy ending or your wish fulfilled or your desired end, right? God, that unseen writer, director, producer, and actor, right, works out the infinite number of details and coordinates the infinite number of possible scripts in scenarios from that broader perspective of infinity, right? And remember, you're one with God. God's within you. So it's your higher self working with all those other higher selves, right? In infinity, coordinating everything they want and what you want. So it all works out perfectly. That's why it's so surprising when things happen that you think, well, I manifested that, and it shocks you. That's why it shocks you, because in the way it comes and how it comes, it can't possibly be known. But that's how miracles happen. This is how it works. So let's get at this a little bit more. So remember, and this really comes from the teachings of Vadim Zeland in his books, Reality Transurfing, and Tufti, the Priestess. So I'll leave a link for sure. So here's what happens. Here you are. Either your attention or your focus is either on the outer screen, on the people, events, and conditions of 3D reality, or in other words, on the actors, on these scenes, or on the props. Or it's on the inner screen, thoughts about the people, events, conditions. The inner screen. You're thinking about how they did you wrong, or I don't like that prop, I don't like this condition, I don't like what's going on. Or you're looking at them and dealing with it directly. Either way, you're not at the awareness center. What's the awareness center? You imagining your wish fulfilled, your focus and attention, giving time, space, and attention to your desires, to your imagined end, to how you want the movie to end. Right? That's what we're talking about here. People, events, and conditions are supporting actors and extras, scenes, and props. Right? When your attention is fixed on either the outer screen or the inner screen, you are unconscious and you're immersed in the script. You have no free will. It's an illusion of free will. That's what Neville Goddard and all the greats were talking about. When you're unconscious and you're focused on people that have done you wrong, or they're not doing things right, or you want them to change, or things are not perfect, or you're even thinking about it. You're focused on either screen and you're not in your awareness center. They're pulling you off. You're relegated to a supporting actor. And you're getting pulled off from your wish fulfilled. You're getting pulled off the path to everything you want, right? Wow, that's big, right? No free will. You have the illusion of action. You take a lot of action, right? And when you're in these events, you take action to fix things, including yourself and others. But it's the illusion of action. Nothing. You're now not headed towards your wish fulfilled. You're not headed to your desires. You're down in the weeds. Right, you're getting pulled in unfavorable lifelines and unfavorable film roles and scripts that are unwanted. Right? You have the illusion of action, but you are bound to the script you don't want and a film role you didn't choose. And you go to more unfavorable scripts. Right? But again, any action you take keeps you more bound to the current script and moves you to more unfavorable lifelines or film roles. You then take even more action, here this, to fix the script or fix the mess you made. right? Remember, when you create a mess within, you create a mess without. And so we take compensatory actions to fix it, and it gets us more in the weeds, and it pulls us off more off our wish fulfilled and what we really want in the life of our desires. Someone says something to us that bothers us. Maybe it's an insult, or maybe it's something, a criticism. And we go down in the weeds. We take our focus off the center of our center, our wish fulfilled, and we start doing battle with the world, or doing battle with them, or thinking about it, fuming about it. And in the meantime, you're pulled off your greatest desires, right? You're relegated to a supporting role, a supporting actor, right? In a movie that you didn't choose, in a script that you don't want. That's big. All right, so how do we do it? How do we fix all this? Well, let's talk about this. Keep your attention, the awareness center on your desired end. That's the awareness center, in the center, not in the outer screen, not in the inner screen, on your wish fulfilled, on what you want, right? Illuminate your future slide. Imagine and assume your wish fulfilled, and that's how you change scripts, by choosing film roles or wanted realities. That's how you choose. You choose by illuminating what you want. You choose by living that desired end now, being in it now, right? You will not, so you will is your will. Your will, right? Your 3D will is now aligned with your higher will. And that gives you free will. Hear this. This is big. Your will, your 3D will, your worldly will is now aligned with that higher will, that divine will, that higher you. And that gives you free will. Wow. You don't have free will when those aren't aligned. You think you do, right? You're taking action. You're willing things into 3D by fighting everybody, fighting the world, forcing things, thinking there's something wrong with you when you're born perfect, you're divine. Right, trying to fix things and repair things. Instead, just align your 3D will with your higher will. This gives you free will. That's so powerful. How? Well, Tufti, the Princess by Vadim Zeland. I'll leave a link below for sure. Here's what he says. Wake up, observe, and follow. Wake up from being asleep and unconscious in your movie. Know that you're an actor playing a role. Observe, and then follow the script. Right? And follow, now remember, you're following the script consciously, because if you're not, you're following it unconsciously, where you have no free will. Right? You're following it consciously. How? By rejecting, not resisting. Hear this, hear the difference. Don't resist the script's control. You're rejecting the control. You're denying the script control but not resisting the script. You're still going to follow it. Do you hear this? There's a difference, right? And then you start to follow the script. Right? And then you compose your goal. Vadim Zeland calls it a goal frame. I like wish fulfilled and your desire better, because goal always implies future, or something you have to earn to get it or do to get it. Right? You'll be doing a lot of action. And some of it will be massive action. But not like in a goal way, right? In a goal way. It will be you'll be moved by that higher power. But let's use goal frame here. Illuminate your future frame and imagine and assume your wish fulfilled. That's what that means, right? Reject the current script. Don't resist it. Start to follow the script, right? You have no choice. All scripts are written. But as you do, you choose a new film role that has a new script. And now you're following a new script that's more aligned with your will, with what you want, with your higher will, right? Allow things to unfold and see everything as an advantage. Whatever comes up in 3D is part of the script, and you can't do anything about it. So complaining, fighting with it, wanting it to go away, wanting to get rid of it, just keeps you bound to it. Instead, see the advantage of it. And if you can't see the advantage, just accept what is, knowing that you're changing it as you do that. Knowing that you're choosing a new film role with a new script as you do that. That's powerful. So, the script is always leading you along the path of least resistance to all you desire. It's like a river, and it's always leading you. It's going to take different ways, but it's always leading you, right? And you're going to have a light touch with the paddles. So you're going to choose the paddles to guide. Sometimes you're going to let go. But otherwise, you're just going to kind of guide and intend, right? You only can throw resistance on the path. The resistance is only ever coming from you, right? See the advantage in all outcomes. Accept what is without resistance while lighting up your future frame, right? If you can't see the advantage, accept it as what is. It doesn't mean you agree with it. There's a difference. It means you accept it as that quantum possibility, right? You're not going to resist it while you light up what you really want, right? It doesn't even mean you agree, right? You are choosing what you do want versus resisting what you don't want. Do you hear the difference? You're choosing what you do want versus resisting what you don't want. And again, here's the think of these as film rolls, and these are frames. And the green is your current frame, right? And think about it, if you unrolled all the film rolls, I've said this in other videos, but just for some of you that are new here, if you unroll all the film rolls, all the lifelines, and you were looking from above, like God, like infinity, you would see every possible scenario, every possible event, every possible actor, every possible prop, right? All the conditions exist. And so that higher power knows exactly how to fit the pieces together. But what happens? Things happen, they don't go according to how we think they should. And so we fight it and we resist it. Instead, just illuminate your future. Here's your future slide. You're here. Illuminate that. Imagine your wish fulfilled. As you do, you get moved to more favorable lifelines. You get moved to the next script. Here's your current frame. Illuminate what you want. And you move to your next script, closer and closer to everything you want. And you're actually getting what you want as you go along. And then you illuminate your future slide. That's how it is. All scripts have been written, but you get to choose the film roll. Really, that's how to turn the movie of your life into a blockbuster. I am your host, Tom Karen. And this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification button, like and share our videos. That's how we get our message out, and we are getting our message out. You can follow us on Facebook at Be Something Wonderful. We also have a group there, the Be Something Wonderful Ambassadors. Feel free to join it. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Tom Karen. Soon, guys, there'll be different content for those things, but right now it's mostly the same content. You can visit my website at tomkaren.com or besomethingwonderful.com. Until next time, with great love, great light, infinite gratitude, and I really mean that. We'll see you soon.